Hey there everybody, hope your day is going well. Jacared Old School Gaming here, and welcome back to another Thoughtful Thursday. At least before the anniversary, do have the Sword Art Online Progressive Aria of a Starless Night. So, this started what was promised to be at least 3 progressive movies, but unfortunately there's only been 2. And no news about a third movie. At least not that I've seen. I'll definitely keep an eye out, and hell, if it shows up, then, well, at least once it becomes available to view at home, I can definitely do a video on it. Yeah, I can only hope a third will drop at some point in the future, but in the meantime, let's see. There is Misumi / Mito, like, whatever. Well, once Sword Art Online truly begins, then, yeah, it's Mito. But, I mean, same person, like, the whole, like, nerf gear, like, taking a copy of the face, and then, like, because people have to touch themselves, gets an actual height and whatnot. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. So, Misu Mito is voiced by Anaris Quinones. I really hope I pronounced that right. Sometimes vowels. Yay, English. And the other actors for the recurring characters, like, Asuna, Kirito, Klein, Agil, Kibao, Diavel, so on, they're all the same, except for Akihiko Kaiba, because right at the beginning he does the whole announcement thing, like, this is how Sword Art Online is meant to be played. He is voiced by David W. Collins. And of course, there is the occasional Swordland track playing. The ending credits song this time is Yuki, or UK, by Lisa. Again, vowels. and not much to those ending credit visuals. It's just a visual roll of all the characters from Kaiba as he hovers over the town of beginnings as essentially the game master, and then ending with Asuna at the very top of all the different characters that are displayed. Now, honestly, this could have been, and still potentially could be, the beginning to a series of a very long series of movies. Because, I mean, the second one skipped the floor 5, but they could always do, like, the third progressive movie talks about what happens in floors 2, 3, and 4, fill that gap, and then go, like, maybe 1 or 2 floors at a time, or hell, maybe even 3 floors at a time, for, all the way up to floor 75. That could be a ton of movies, and a ton of profit for, A1 Pictures. But, will they ever? Probably not. Well, more the topic at hand. It is neat, because seeing, Misumi / Mito playing in an avatar, and also, I mean, because we eventually figure out who that is and what she actually looks like. But it is interesting to see that people were able to play the entire beta in their avatars, because, essentially, Sword Art Online was pretty much always played in people's real outfits. Or now, even a glimpse of Kirito as he gets, like, drowned in light from a door opening, like, 3 seconds before the beta actually ends. And I didn't think he donned, like, the black swordsman, like, he probably used, like, a one-handed heavy sword all the time, because that's just what he was comfortable with. But, like, the whole black, like, dressed in all black from head to toe, I thought he more donned that at the end of floor 1. But I could maybe this is just like fan service, so we know, hey, Kirito made it the absolute farthest, as well as Mito, who we're getting to meet for the first time. Well, kind of Misumi, who's in the same middle school as Asuna, and things seem mostly normal. Asuna's the proverbial popular girl in middle school, and everyone's just kind of living their lives. Misumi seems to be kind of something of an outcast, maybe because she likes playing video games, and honestly, I can kind of understand that, because hell, throughout middle school for me, I was pretty much an outcast just because I liked, well, I liked and I still like Yu-Gi-Oh! And video games and other things. It's just, I, whatever. Whatever. It's the past, it doesn't really bother me, it's just, I can empathize. But Asuna is a good friend, even though she's, super popular and it might not be seen as okay to be with the nerd girl. She's still friends with her and just, like, playing games. And even though she kind of sucks, at least Asuna does have fun. And initially, Asuna knows that she can't play Sword Art Online because of how strict her mom is, and yeah, at least until she sees the Nerve Gear and a copy of Sword Art Online in her brother's room and thinks, hey, my brother and I, we're okay. It doesn't matter if I just go and borrow something from him, does it? No. And what's more interesting also is like when Asuna logs in, she's just, oh, create your username. I guess Asuna, and that's more a reflection on the mother's strict, overbearing. Do not go to the internet. Just concentrate on your studies. Do absolutely nothing else. Which, yeah, I mean, I can kind of understand, like, hey, you want success for your kids, but you also have to let a little bit of freedom, because then people can start learning certain things. Like, you don't use your real name in an online, like, as an online handle. I mean, hell, that's why I've used Jacaria since middle school, because my mother let me, well, she didn't really have a choice. She knew that there was internet at school, so she just pretty much straight up told me, listen, there are people who might hurt you if you use your real name, so don't do that. And I went through, like, a few different handles, like maybe Mario with different iterations of, like, maybe different letters or different numbers around it. Hell, at one point I used Kuzco just because I liked the movie, and it was just, hey, why not use that name? And eventually, I mean, it's a bit of a story I'm not going to get into, but eventually I did settle on Dracarian. As for Asuna, who's been completely sheltered from anything internet-related at all, she doesn't think anything about using her real name. She's just, whatever, I mean, I'm Asuna. Why would I be anyone else? And hell, she, like, the creation of her avatar, it does become kind of interesting, because as the town of beginnings thing, when Kaiba just hovers over the town, she doesn't change, because she just decided that, hey, I am me. I don't know why I would hide behind another mask. I do not know why I would use another name. And that is 100% on her mother for just completely sheltering her and making sure she didn't have anything at all to do with the internet. And like, as Asuna jumps in, she's calling out for the real world name, Misumi, and like Mito jumps in, stop calling me that! You don't use your real name on the internet. And while Misumi plays as, like, the dashing rogue type Mito, I'm surprised that wasn't the point of bringing up the stigma of girl gamers, because they kind of talked about it a bit about it on the Skull Roof, where it's just like, hey, girl gamers are kind of looked down upon, which personally I don't have a problem with that, but apparently, like, some people do. Then again, it's not just for girls. I mean, girls kind of get their own stigma about it, but guys get plenty of stigma about it too, because it's just like, oh my god, you play video games? Yeah, like, why? Because I enjoy it? Because I have fun? Why the hell wouldn't I? And a short little montage of them shopping around the town of beginnings, and, well, that's when they find out nobody can log out. Yep, the town of beginnings, Kaiba's message, and yeah, all the chaos of that. Yeah, unlike what happened with, like, Kirito trying to get Klein out of town, Misumi is Asuna's only friend, and she gets dragged out and, like, much further into different areas. Yeah, and Asuna can learn the system, which she's actually much better at it, because, after all, it's not just tapping a few buttons, it's using the whole body to move. And then another montage of shopping, getting quests, and fighting different monsters. They start running across certain chests in dungeons, And Misumi even notes that, hey, those things, if they're not opened, if they were never opened even by the beta testers, they're probably trapped. Which also makes me wonder, I forget what floor the Moonlit Black Cats were on. How in the hell did they not know about trapped chests? Like, people get overwhelmed and then the monsters kill them, but like, how did word eventually not start spreading, like, beyond just the beta testers that, hey, these chests are trapped? Like, be careful with which chest you open. Yeah, because Misumi even mentioned that you can have a certain skill to safely open those chests, but apparently nobody knows about that. Again, like the Moonlit Black Cats were supposed to be a part of the computer club in school. But what, did they never play games? Did they just spend all their time putting computers together? I kind of doubt that, because they all got sort of online at the same time. But yeah, I don't know. If Sachi and the Moonlit Black Cats ever come back, then maybe I can talk a bit more about that. But and Asuna really wants to jump in and help the players that are being overwhelmed by this huge horde of goblins. And yeah, they both have to just essentially shut themselves off from what's happening and ignore it in order to survive. And there's really nothing they can do but try to look out for one another. Even though both Asuna and Mito, well, at a certain point, would be experienced with what's happening on floor 1, they can make some mistakes, like what the hell are they called? Little nepents? Okay. I have a feeling there's supposed to be like a silent letter in there somewhere. But I think there's a certain one with a fruit on its head that just summons a massive horde. Which also makes me wonder if Asuna is, or even the other players, are in control of the sword system, or if it's in control of them. Because, she readies her weapon, but then tries to stop and pull back, but the sword itself launches her forward, through one of the creatures into the next one that summons the massive horde. It could almost give a certain sense of worry and danger if we didn't know how things ended up later. And, I mean, hell, even as down the last one, some new giant, I don't know, like, dog demon appears, and Misumi is observing the health bars, sees Asuna's get down to just a little tiny nubbin, and yeah, she retreats and even leaves the party, just not wanting to see the result of a close friend dying in game. Yeah, which is actually just in time for the power of main character. Kirito gets to jump in and save Asuna last second. I don't know. I can kind of understand Misumi's actions, just not wanting to see something like that. Personally, I would have just kept fighting. I don't know if Misumi said she ran out of potions. I know Asuna said that. Asuna did specifically say she ran out of potions. Misumi, I don't think there was about that. She tried, she fell down the cliff because there was a trap. Then she tried jumping up some coffins on the side of the cliff. And then one of them was a trap. She fell again, and then had to try and take the long way up, but was just completely overwhelmed. Personally, I would have wanted to at least go there and get revenge and pay respects and all that stuff. Actually, the way Kirito reacted to seeing Asuna, a girl. Here, I can help you up. I can give you some potions. Here's a map. It's actually kind of adorable, because it's like apart from his sister, which I kind of already touched that he just saw his sister as as a child and not a teenager anymore. He stopped paying attention to her because he felt attached. So apart from his mom and his sister, it was his first interaction, I don't know, maybe at school we don't get to really see him in his middle school or anything. We don't get to see him interacting in school with anyone there, guys or girls. And, his reaction to, oh, it's a girl. It's quite something. Even, actually, more terrifying would be Asuna's dream of, like, being able to actually log out, just, oh, the system menu just pops up, like, I can log out. Do you want to log out? Yes! She kind of hesitates at first, and then she goes, yes, I want to log out. Probably hesitating because if I can log out, am I the only one who can log out? Can no one else log out? But, I mean, it does end up being a dream, unfortunately, because, I mean, like, even she dreams that her mother would welcome her with open arms, that all of her favorite food was laid out, the one maid, I forget the name, but the maid, her dad, her brother, all sitting around the table, just like, hey, it's good to have you here. And then, like, she gets a message on her phone, Mito has left the party. And that's what... It's definitely a PTSD, because she kind of feels abandoned by Mito, or Misumi, whatever name you want to use. She definitely does feel abandoned, and it's really, really sad, because, and that dream is probably something that every single player has had multiple times. Just, hey, I'm able to log out, I'm getting out, I'm going home, and I'm seeing my family again. But unfortunately, yeah, that doesn't happen. And all that just makes Asuna steal her resolve and saying that, hey, if this game is going to kill me, I will go out on my own damn terms. And hell, she runs into Kirito in some dungeon. He just, like, admonishes her brash fighting skills, and even that doesn't dissuade her, and he drags her outside, and she's just, what the hell did you do that for? And he knows that, hey, you probably had a lot of map data, because apparently she was in that dungeon for several days, but he does convince her to go for the floor 1 meeting about the floor 1 boss that they finally found. Speaking of the floor 1 meeting with Diavel, trying to make an inspiring speech to rally everyone for a common goal. Kibao trying to incite everyone against beta testers. And Agil steps in to tell him off. It's essentially almost a play for play, except we get Asuna's perspective. And that's the thing. This is like the point of the last half hour in the film, because like the last time on floor 1, it was following Kirito's perspective, but this time we get to see inside Asuna's perspective. Because I mean, even with the two of them going to the some farmhouse where Kirito's renting out the second floor of a farmhouse, because what we saw last time with the bun and the little bit of cream on it, Asuna takes a small bite, but last time it was just but this time we see from Asuna's perspective, and she takes a bite and just, oh my god, that is so tasty. How is that so tasty? And that kind of goes again into the Matrix discussion of what is real, electronic signals interpreted by the brain. Even after Asuna taking a bath and then going outside so they can practice fighting together, Kirito just gives her a new rapier, and he's just, hey, I would never use this, so it's yours. Asuna does have the opportunity to essentially unload her grief about what happened, as she doesn't really name Misumi Mito, but she does ask hey, are all beta testers bad? And Kirito's just, no, I mean, some people are bad, some people are good, but I wouldn't say beta testers are inherently bad, like Kibao tried to incite. And most likely, since Asuna was already friends with the beta tester, that Asuna most likely knows who she really is. And hell, living through middle school and just living life day to day in peace, there would be absolutely no situation where either of them would know how they would react when presented with certain situations, such as, oh crap, someone's about to die and I'm about to witness it, I can't do anything to help them. There's absolutely no situation for that, at least outside of sort of online incident. And hell, even as they're both like walking on their way towards the floor one boss, they know that, hey, if they just kind of have a conversation mainly to alleviate the nerves of actually going up against a proper floor boss, and it's more of a it's kind of a conversation like, hey, if something like this were a real world situation, this would just feel like a normal everyday occurrence, and Kirito even notes that they have 99 more floors, 99 more bosses after this one, so it will start to feel more and more normal. And like I was saying, the like seeing things in the progressive, seeing things from Asuna's perspective is an interesting comparison to what Kirito's perspective was in the series, because Kirito honestly just saw letting Asuna use the bath and giving her a powerful rapier. It was really nothing special, but for Asuna, it's definitely something to remember. And Kirito doesn't really remember the player Mito or what happened. Like, maybe he had an encounter with the other avatar Mito, but he was he was super laser focused on the fight, and he was just concentrating on the boss, keeping an eye on the heads up display with Asuna's health, because he knows that it's there, and he's just super laser focused. Only look at the boss. The boss is the problem. Gotta fight that. Whereas Asuna is kind of just like her head on the swivel. Just, okay, there's the party member that I've teamed up with, and there's Mito. There's the boss, and she's always looking around. And there's not really too much of a difference, except, well, Asuna definitely sees Mito's reaction to Kibao and the other players trying to incite everyone else into ganging up and shunning all the beta testers. But Kirito just tells them off and says, "Huh, you call them beta testers? None of them even made it as far as I did. I'm so much better. I'm so much more powerful. Yeah, I'm a beater." And he puts on the midnight cloak. I think that's what it was, the midnight coat or something. And that's essentially how he becomes the Black Swordsman. And Asuna said, gives a genuine and not malice intended farewell to Mito. As she and Kirito can go out into the second floor, it opens up to just a massive canyon area. And Asuna's perspective has them both outside talking about, asking how he knew her name instead of at the end of the boss room. And a little tease for the next movie after the credits. Yeah, I don't know. I did really enjoy this movie. I mean, it definitely showcases the life of Floor 1, and at this point, because Asuna wasn't a beta tester, and Asuna was, well, she played games with Misumi, but she wasn't really good at them, so she didn't really even play them at home. And her perspective becomes kind of the perspective of just about everyone else trapped in Aincrad, because she has the dream about being able to log out. She essentially learns the system as she goes, and she's just convinced that there's no way that the game is ever going to be cleared. Eventually, we're all just gonna wither away and die in here. Might as well go out on my own terms. But then with the floor 1 boss finally being defeated, that kind of creates a spark of hope for her and for all the beta testers, for everyone, that, hey, maybe this game can actually eventually be cleared. It's going to take a while, we have to be careful, but we can clear it. Yeah, and I do remember watching this on the big screen back when it first came out, and I was really happy to see a reimagining of what happened from the from floor one all the way to the from logging in to the floor one boss, and even the essentially human nature of, well, if we help in this situation, we're probably going to die ourselves, and they're going to die. It's just going to be a huge waste of time. So we have to shut off ourselves, and even as our emotions and desire to help other humans tries to get us to go in, we have to ignore that. We have to suppress it so we can survive. And hell, even the one situation where Misumi just essentially abandons Asuna. Yeah, I mean, it is unfortunate, but like I said, it's essentially human nature, and they never would have been in that kind of situation ever before. Now, because this is December's Thoughtful Thursday, and I won't be getting into the next movie until February, because January is the anniversary. But I do look forward to watching that, and yeah, hell, I hope to see everyone in the anniversary and the next progressive movie, and the two seasons of the alternative Gun Gale Online. And I will definitely keep an eye out for whatever comes in the future for Sword Art Online, whether it's more of Kito and Asuna's story, or more of another progressive movie, or more of a Karen Len's story in the Gun Gale Online alternative. Yeah, I'll keep an eye out, and hopefully something happens with something, because honestly, I do enjoy this. I really do. Yeah, so like I said, I hope to see you somewhere in the future. So, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't hit that bell so you can always be notified whenever I upload another video, and as always, have fun.